broken engine and the dying fleet Maya Chen floated in the cramped engine bay of the cargo hauler Rusty Dawn, her magnetic boots clicking against the metal floor as she maneuvered around the massive fusion reactor. Sweat beaded on her forehead. Despite the ship's climate control, the reactor core was older than she was, held together by spare parts, prayer, and what her mentor, Dr. Voss, used to call aggressive optimism. The Rusty Dawn had been her home for 3 years now, ever since. She'd left the Mars Engineering Corps to work the Outer Rim. Out here, beyond the reach of Earth's expanding colonies, ships broke down regularly and replacement parts were harder to find than honest traders. That made Maya's particular skills valuable. She had a gift for making broken things work again, often in ways that defied conventional engineering principles. The proximity alarm suddenly shrieked through the ship's speakers. Maya's head snapped up, nearly hitting the reactor housing. She'd been working alone for weeks, and the alarm meant only one thing: other ships were approaching. In this part of space that could be very good news or very bad news, she pulled herself out of the engine bay and floated toward the bridge, her toolkit jangling at her belt. Through the viewport she could see them, a fleet of ships unlike anything in human space. They were sleek, crystalline structures that seemed to bend light around their edges, beautiful but clearly alien, and they were damaged. Badly, Maya had seen enough broken ships to recognize the signs: scorch marks along their hulls, debris trailing from their engines, and the telltale flicker of failing power systems. Whatever these aliens were, they were in trouble. The communication system crackled to life. The voice that emerged was deep, melodic, but strained with exhaustion. "Unknown vessel, this is Commander Zektha of the Axiom Coalition, 3rd Fleet. We require immediate assistance. Our ships are failing." Maya hesitated. First contact with an alien species wasn't supposed to happen like this. There were protocols, procedures, entire departments back on Earth that handled this sort of thing. But those departments were light away, and these ships looked like they might not survive another hour. She activated the CUM system. "This is Maya Chen aboard the Rusty Dawn. I'm an engineer. What kind of help do you need?" "Your vessel appears to be of primitive design," came the reply. "We require advanced technical support. Our quantum matrices are destabilizing." Maya almost laughed. Primitive design. If only this Commander Zektha knew how many impossible repairs she'd pulled off with her primitive tools. "Commander, I don't know what a quantum matrix is, but I know broken engines when I see them. Permission to come aboard." The silence stretched for long moments. Finally, the commander spoke again. "We will transport you to our flagship. Be warned, human. If you cannot help us, we will all die within the next 6 hours." The transporter beam was unlike anything Maya had experienced. One moment she was standing in her cargo hold. The next she was materializing in what looked like a cathedral made of living crystal. The walls pulsed with soft blue light, and the air hummed with barely contained energy. Commander Zektha was waiting for her. He stood nearly 8 feet tall, with skin that shifted between deep purple and silver depending on how the light hit it. His eyes were large and multifaceted, like a dragonfly's, and they studied Maya with obvious skepticism. "You are smaller than I expected," he said, "and you carry primitive tools." Maya patted her toolkit. "Sometimes the old ways work best. Show me what's wrong." What followed was a tour through the most advanced engineering Maya had ever seen. The ship's power systems were based on principles that made her head spin. Quantum entanglement drives, consciousness-linked control systems, and energy matrices that existed in multiple dimensions simultaneously. It was beautiful, elegant, and completely broken. The Nexus Collective attacked us 3 days ago, Zekthar explained as they walked through corridors lined with dying crystal matrices. They are an ancient race, older than the Axiom Coalition. By millions of years, their technology is beyond our understanding. They struck our fleet with some kind of cascade weapon that turned our own systems against us. Maya knelt beside one of the failing matrices, pulling out her scanner. The readings were chaos. "It's like a virus," she muttered, "but for machines instead of organic systems." "Our technicians have tried everything," Zekthar said. "The quantum matrices are fundamental to our ship's operation. Without them, we cannot maintain life support, propulsion, or shields. We are dying by degrees." Maya stood up, her mind racing. She'd seen something like this before, back on Mars. A cascade failure in the reactor systems that had nearly destroyed the entire colony. The solution hadn't come from the textbooks. It had come from thinking differently about the problem. "You're trying to fix the matrices," she said. "But what if the problem isn't the matrices themselves? What if it's the connections between them?" Zekthar's multifaceted eyes fixed on her. "Explain." Maya pulled out her portable holoprojector, a battered device that looked ancient compared to the Axiom technology around her. "Your systems are designed for perfect harmony, right? Everything synchronized, working in perfect unity. But this virus exploits that harmony. It spreads through the connections." She began sketching a diagram in the air with her finger. "What if we break the harmony? Introduce chaos into the system." "Chaos?" Zekthar sounded horrified. "That would destroy everything." "Maybe, or maybe it would isolate the virus, keep it from spreading. Think of it like a fire break in a forest. You burn down trees to stop the bigger fire." The commander was quiet for a long moment. Around them, the ship's lights flickered ominously. "Our people have spent millennia perfecting these systems. What you suggest goes against everything we know about engineering." Maya grinned. "Good. Sometimes the best solutions come from breaking the rules." Over the next 4 hours, Maya worked alongside Zekthar and his engineering team. The aliens watched in fascination and horror as she began deliberately introducing random variables into their quantum matrices. She rerouted power through backup systems, created intentional feedback loops, and used her portable fusion battery to provide irregular power pulses. "This is madness," muttered one of the Axiom engineers, a being who resembled a cross between a mantis and a butterfly. "This is human engineering," Maya replied, splicing together 2 crystal matrices with ordinary copper wire. "We're really good at making things work when they shouldn't." The breakthrough came when Maya realized that the virus was actually a form of artificial intelligence designed to predict and counter the Axiom's logical repair attempts. But human intuition, human randomness, was something it couldn't account for. "It's trying to solve us like a puzzle," she explained to Zekthar as she worked. "But humans don't follow logical patterns. We make leaps, we guess, we try things just to see what happens." She pulled a piece of chewing gum from her pocket and stuck it between 2 crystal connectors. Zekthar stared at her in disbelief. "That is not how quantum matrices work," he said. "No," Maya agreed. "But it's how this one's going to work." She activated the modified matrix. For a moment, nothing happened. Then, slowly, the crystal began to glow with steady light. The chaotic power readings stabilized. The virus, confused by the completely illogical connections, began to isolate itself into inactive sectors. Within an hour, the first ship was fully operational. Within 4 hours, the entire fleet was back online. The Axiom engineers stared at Maya with something approaching reverence. "You have saved us," Zektha said. "We are in your debt." Maya wiped her hands on her coveralls. "Just glad I could help." "But you said something about a Nexus collective. Are they going to come back?" Zektha's expression darkened. "They are coming. Our scouts reported a massive fleet heading for this sector. They intend to eliminate all life here, to prevent the spread of what they call chaos contamination. How long do we have? Perhaps 2 days, but it does not matter. Even with our fleet operational, we cannot stand against them. The Nexus Collective has never been defeated. They are order incarnate, perfection itself." Maya looked out at the stars through the bridge viewport. Somewhere out there, an ancient enemy was coming to destroy everything in this sector. But she'd just proven that perfection had a weakness. "Commander," she said, "I think it's time you learned about human stubbornness." The Last Stand and the New Alliance 2 days later. Maya stood on the bridge of the Axiom flagship Harmony's edge, watching the massive Nexus fleet emerge from hyperspace. The enemy ships were unlike anything she'd ever imagined. They were perfect. Geometric forms, dodecahedrons, and icosahedrons that seemed to be carved from solid light. They moved with mathematical precision, their formations creating complex patterns that hurt to look at directly. 37,000 ships, reported the tactical officer, her voice barely above a whisper. "They outnumber us 50-1. Commander." Zektha stood beside Maya, his usually composed demeanor cracking. "The Nexus Collective has been purging the galaxy of chaos for 50 million years. They view any deviation from perfect order as a disease to be eliminated." Maya studied the enemy formation through the view screen. Even their approach was perfectly calculated, each ship maintaining exact distances from its neighbors. It was beautiful and absolutely terrifying. "They're not just trying to destroy us," she realized. "They're trying to prove that order is superior to chaos. This is as much about ideology as it is about territory." The communication system activated, and a voice filled the bridge. It was perfectly modulated, emotionless, speaking in harmonious tones that seemed to come from everywhere. "At once, Axiom Coalition vessels, you harbor chaos contamination. Submit to cleansing or be destroyed. This is your only warning." Zektha activated the reply channel. "Nexus Collective, we will not submit. We choose to fight. Then you choose extinction. Your chaos will not spread further." The first wave of Nexus ships began their approach. Maya watched their perfect formations and felt her engineer's mind analyzing the patterns. There was something almost musical about their movements, like a vast orchestra playing a symphony of destruction. "They're coordinated by some kind of central intelligence," she said. "Look at how they move. No independent thought, no improvisation. They're like a single massive machine." "That is their strength," Zektha replied. "Perfect coordination, perfect efficiency." "Maybe, but it's also their weakness." Maya turned to face the commander. "Remember what I did to your quantum matrices? I introduced chaos to break the virus's predictive algorithms. What if we could do the same thing on a massive scale? You wish to introduce chaos into a space battle. I wish to fight unpredictably, make decisions that don't follow logical patterns, force them to react instead of execute their perfect plan." Zektha considered this. Around them, The bridge crew prepared for battle with the grim efficiency of people who knew they were about to die. "What do you propose?" Maya pulled up a tactical display, her fingers dancing over the alien controls. "Your ships are designed for perfect coordination, right? What if we break that coordination intentionally? Make each ship captain think independently, make their own decisions. That would be ... chaotic, exactly. And chaos is what humans do best." The battle began with the Nexus ships opening fire in perfect synchronization. Their weapons created geometric patterns of destruction, energy beams that intersected at precisely calculated points to maximize damage. It was like watching death itself made mathematical. The Axiom fleet responded with their own coordinated maneuvers. But Maya could see they were outmatched. The enemy's precision was overwhelming their careful formations. "Now," Maya shouted, "break formation. All ships. Independent action." "That goes against every tactical principle we know," the tactical officer protested. "Good," Maya replied. "Do it anyway." Sekthar gave the order. Across the fleet, Axiom ship captains found themselves suddenly free to act on their own initiative. The result was immediate chaos. Ships broke from formation, pursued individual targets, made decisions based on instinct rather than central command. The effect on the Nexus fleet was immediate and dramatic. Their perfect formations began to waver as they tried to calculate responses to actions that had no logical pattern. Maya watched as enemy ships hesitated, their coordination breaking down when faced with truly random behavior. "It's working," she breathed. "They can't predict what we'll do next, because we don't know what we'll do next." But the advantage was temporary. The Nexus fleet was adapting, their central intelligence beginning to account for random variables. Maya needed something more, something that would give them a permanent edge. She looked at the tactical display, studying the enemy's movements. They were still moving in patterns, still following mathematical principles, and patterns, Maya knew, could be broken. "Commander, I need to access your ship's quantum core," she said. "The core? That's impossible. The quantum core is the heart of the ship. Any interference could destroy us all. Trust me, I have an idea." Sekthar stared at her for a long moment, then nodded. "If you can save us, do it." Maya raced through the ship's corridors, her toolkit bouncing at her side. The quantum core was located in the ship's deepest section, a chamber filled with swirling energy that seemed to exist in multiple dimensions simultaneously. It was the most beautiful thing she'd ever seen, and she was about to break it. She began connecting her portable equipment to the core's access points, ignoring the warning alarms that began sounding. Around her, the ship's crew watched in horror as she began rerouting the core's output through her own equipment. "What are you doing?" demanded the chief engineer. "Creating a chaos cascade," Maya replied, her hands flying over her controls. "If I can make our quantum signature completely random, it'll spread to every ship in the fleet through the quantum entanglement network. That could destroy the entire fleet, or it could save us all." She activated the cascade. The ship's quantum core began fluctuating wildly, its perfectly ordered energy patterns dissolving into beautiful chaos. The effect spread through the fleet's quantum network, each ship's signature becoming utterly unpredictable. The Nexus response was immediate and catastrophic. Their targeting systems, designed to track and predict movement patterns, began failing. Their perfect formations collapsed as they lost the ability to coordinate their movements. Ships began colliding with each other, their central intelligence overwhelmed by the sheer randomness of the chaos field. Impossible, came the voice of the Nexus Collective, for the first time showing emotion. Order must prevail. Chaos must be eliminated. Not today, Maya said, watching as the enemy fleet began to retreat. Today, chaos wins. The aftermath was something that would be remembered for generations. The Nexus Collective, defeated for the first time in 50 million years, withdrew from the sector. The Axiom Coalition, saved by a human engineer and her chaotic methods, offered humanity a formal alliance. Maya stood on the observation deck of the Harmony's Edge, watching Earth's first diplomatic vessel arrive. Dr. Voss was aboard, along with representatives from the Mars Engineering Corps and the Earth's Colonial Authority. Humanity was about to take its first steps into a larger galaxy. "You have given us a great gift," Zekthar said, joining her at the viewport. "Not just our lives, but a new way of thinking. Our people have always valued order, precision, perfection. But you have shown us the power of chaos, of thinking differently." Maya smiled. Chaos isn't the opposite of order. It's just another way of solving problems. Sometimes the best solutions come from breaking the rules. "We would be honored to learn from your people," Zekthar said, "and perhaps we can teach you something about quantum engineering in return." "I'd like that," Maya said. "I've always wondered what would happen if you combined human chaos with Axiom precision." As the diplomatic vessel docked with the flagship, Maya thought about the future. Humanity was about to enter a galactic community, bringing with them their gifts of creativity, stubbornness, and the ability to make impossible things work. The universe was about to become a much more interesting place. She pulled out her toolkit and began examining one of the Axiom quantum matrices. There were still improvements to be made, still problems to solve. After all, she was an engineer, and engineers fix things, even if they have to break a few rules along the way. Asterisk.